All right, everyone, welcome back for our 2024 gaming challenge. We are on week 14 already. Seems like it's gone by too quick. But we had a bounce back week last week. We were 17 and 10, 16 and 8 on the game picks. Kind of started us hot. Jamie had some good wins on Thanksgiving, and then Stone really solidified everything throughout the whole week. We hit plus 7 units last week, so really good bounce back week for us. As far as the standings are concerned, we have Stone in first place with 71 wins. Jamie is in second place with 43 wins. And then I'm in third place with 39 wins. Just for some perspective, now we count things a little bit different this year. But last year, Jamie was our champion, and he finished with 76 wins. Stone is already at 71 wins. So this is on a trajectory of record breaking trajectory. So I will pass it over to Stone to get us started.
I mean, I got like almost a 30 win lead against Jamie right now. I think I don't want to call it too early, but I feel like we can almost say that it'll be very hard for anyone to catch me at this point. Especially since I have what eight game player picks and like six game picks. Um,
14 picks this week.
unless I really like start shitting the bed, I don't see I think I got it locked up at this point.
Famous last words. Okay,
It's
we're just
very
gonna leave
true.
it at
Very
that.
true.
And then
Uh,
Jamie, second place.
uh,
You want to have anything to say about that?
I don't know. I don't think that's famous last words. Yeah, at this point, not only do I have to perform well in my picks, I also have to actively root
hmm
for Stone to lose like all of his picks. Okay, so that's not good for anyone on the pod. I don't like that being the position, but that's where we're at. Like you said, Stone is in a record-breaking position. I mean, 71 and 40 is an absurd win rate. 28 0.15 units. That's crazy. I mean, if you just look at my units, I'm negative 13, even though I'm only down 10 on the picks. So I've been dragging it down with my game picks. I really need to turn that around. Haven't gotten it done.
Yeah, I'm not even looking at the scoreboard. I'm thinking, how do I get this my number to a place where I could be satisfied with my season? um, but with that being said, we're gonna get pivoted into week 14. I think the other scary thing about it is we're gonna do up to week 20. So that's a lot of time left. I know that probably not reasonable to think we're going to come back from 30. I was thinking from it more from Stone's perspective that that's a lot of wins. That could be the most wins of all time.
I'm going for 100
Um,
wins at this point. I got
yeah,
Oh,
that's
see,
yeah,
see, now that's the famous last words.
yeah,
yeah.
That's the one that's gonna do it.
yeah, because I remember Jamie a few weeks ago was like, I'm gonna get 10 player picks.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, so for the game side of things, Stone's going to get 6. Jamie's going to pick second with 2, and then I'm going to pick third, and I have 4 picks. So, Stone, whenever you're ready.
All right, I'm gonna start this week with an over. Two pretty bad
Hmm.
defenses. I like that for overs. Tampa Bay and Las Vegas over 46 at minus 108. Um, both defense have been giving up points. Both offenses, well, maybe not Las Vegas, but Tampa Bay can at least score, and I think Las Vegas will get some points on the board as well. Against the Tampa Bay defense that's been allowing a lot of points. Just throw it to Brock Bowers.
I like
Yeah, I
this
didn't
pick.
have this one on my card, so I have nothing for it.
I looked at it. It was gonna be there if I had more than two picks, but not one of my first two. And
All
leading
right.
into me,
Yep.
I'm gonna go with Miami to cover the -6 at -108 versus the Jets.
Yep.
And he's doubtful for the game. You know, Aaron Rodgers hasn't been playing well. I think Miami's desperate. They got to come out with this.
Miami's been playing good, and I had the Jets money line last week and felt for 3.5 quarters that it was safe and everything was going to be okay. And they let me down again. So um, fade the Jets. That's been the season to fade the Jets.
That was
So
on my list. Like I said, last week I bet against the Dolphins because they were playing a good team. But they are playing another bad team. And I like them a lot this week.
yeah, so I'm going to go. I'm going to go with an over, and I'm surprised this wasn't the first pick. I think that both these defenses have been the softest defenses of the year. And I'm going to take Cincinnati and Dallas, and that is at 49.5, minus 112. That's a Monday night game. I do think that these teams, as far as their defense are concerned, it could get unhinged here. And Joe Burrow is having an MVP season, even though he'll never win it because they only have 3 wins or something like that, something ridiculous. So I think this is a chance for them to really run the score up against Dallas, and they'll have to keep up. So I'm going to go over that number.
Yeah, this was on my list, and I've gotten sniped twice, which is really thinning out the picks I like for the game picks, and I have to make a ton of them, unfortunately.
Only 12 games this week, so it wasn't a full board.
Makes it even
Yep.
tougher.
It's tight.
All right, I guess.
We just snipe these. Here's the strategy: just snipe them and make Stone make terrible picks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I like it.
guess.
Let's
I like
do
it.
it.
All right, I'm gonna go with this next pick, one of the top 3 teams in the NFL right now, or maybe even number 1, depending on how you look at it. But Buffalo minus 3.5 at minus 115. I think they're super hot right now, and I think they're gonna continue the streak and win this game by a touchdown at least.
Who are they playing?
The
They
Rams.
are playing. I don't even know, but I like the line. The Rams.
Yep.
The Rams
And
defense is
it's not
soft.
going to. Rams defense is soft. It's not going to be in the snow, and this Buffalo has been. I think Buffalo is second best team in the NFL right now, maybe the best. And this was my next pick. Rams haven't been able to stop anybody, and Buffalo seems to be a team of destiny. Now they have a snow game win like that, and the MVP. It looks like Josh Allen's MVP. Things are just trending in the right direction for them. And
We'll
so
see.
with that, I did have a backup to this game, and that is the same exact game over another 49.5 here, minus 112, starting off with 2 overs. Oh, I put that in Stone's category. The Rams have to win to stay in, and it's not looking good for them anyway. And so I do think that Puka and Cooper Kupp and Stafford will put up some points. Yep, Cove agrees. And again, another game that you could see getting on, again, looking for unhingedness, looking for something to happen. And I think that both teams have that on offense. So I'm going to take that.
Solid. We like desperate teams for sure. For my final pick, then I'll let you guys have the mic. I'm gonna do Philadelphia and Carolina over 46, and that's at minus 108. Surprisingly, Carolina has sucked, but they've been keeping pace in these games. Even the Chiefs, one of the better defenses, and Bryce and the boys put up 27, I think, versus them. They put up 23 last week. I mean, I think the Eagles could easily put up 34, 35 points in this. So I don't think Carolina needs to score a whole lot, but I think they can to get this line.
And Bryce Young is hot right now. They just feel a little different than they did, week 3.
Yeah,
which is good.
He looks like a franchise quarterback. Some might say.
Might say.
All right, I'm gonna pivot to taking a team total. I haven't taken many of these, but I'm taking Tennessee's team total over 20.5 at -118. The Jags are the worst defense in the NFL, by like a lot. I feel like they're just really bad, and I think Tennessee will be able to score some points on them.
I mean, worse than the Bengals.
Well, yeah,
That's hard to say.
I was like,
the
that
Jags are
offense.
yeah. The Jags offense probably makes them look worse than they are, but
Now I'm starting to see a trend here on this board. We already have 4 overs, and I'm going to add a fifth to it. And it's just, is that mathematically reasonable? I'm not sure. Um, that's right, Cove. And I'm going to take Atlanta and Minnesota over 45.5. I'm looking for a bounce back game from Kirk. Also, I saw this, and I've been watching a lot of Atlanta because of a future I have on them, and just being in that region. And they get the least pass rush, and they give up the highest completion percentage to quarterbacks in the whole league. They haven't been able to stop really anybody. I think Minnesota throws up some points. I think Atlanta tries to chase them. I'm hoping it works out well for Atlanta, but I could see this going in a much more horrific direction for them.
so I'm gonna bring up some interesting stats, and I'm gonna be going head to head here. But
Here
both
we go.
Atlanta and Minnesota are 4-8 against the over on the season. And I think playing against each other, I'm gonna take the under. Just two teams that have hit the under all year. I'm just gonna take the odds on that and make it a little more interesting for the podcast.
Do we have podcast stats for versus matchups?
That would have been a good one. We do not. I think there's only been 2 or 3 this year. I know one of them was a future with the Commanders. The other one
I
I
know I
lost
beat
to
you
Stone.
once on the
Yeah.
New England line, I think.
Yeah, the New England line a week or so ago, I lost on that one. So there hasn't been that many this year. I felt like there was more last year. And so we go -110 on that. All right, I got one last pick, and I do like this game, even if I didn't have a big future kind of sitting on it. And it is a little chalky. This line has been moving between 2.5 and 3. 3 right now is -102. 2.5 is -125. I'm gonna do the -2.5. I need Arizona to get this dub at home against Seattle. It's looking like the only way for them to make the playoffs, which is what I bet a couple weeks ago for future, is only going to be likely if they win the division, and Seattle is in first place in that division right now. So, again, it opened at 2.5. It's been moving. It's at 125. It's a little chalky, but 3 is at -102. So I'm gonna take the 2.5, and if they lose this one, I feel like the future is dead.
All right. This next game, I'm gonna take one of my futures as well. Chargers making the playoffs. I mean, they don't have to win this game, but I still think against the Chiefs, if they win this game, they could potentially take over the division, or get closer to taking over the division. And I like the line. Even if they don't win, I like taking the spread at +4. I think they play them close in a tight division game, even though it's in Kansas City. That was -110.
I think the best question here is, when has Kansas City not been in a one-score game?
Mm-hmm.
It's been a long time, so I like that.
It's also time for them to not get the benefit of some fortune.
Yeah.
The benefit of fortune.
It's information, man. You only see that because they're winning. They don't show penalties for losing teams.
I'm not even talking about the penalties. I'm talking about lucky things like dropping snap, botching field goal kicks at the buzzer. Yeah. Anyway. All right, Stone. Last pick on the game side.
All right, last pick. Going back to my first pick, over. I'm gonna take Tampa Bay -6.5 at -112. The Raiders aren't a good team. I think Tampa Bay wins by a touchdown. Don't have much else to say. This is really far down on my list, and I got sniped a lot. So
Yeah, I don't have any of those on my list here. So, with that, that's going to close us out. I think that's 12 game picks. I think that's the most we've probably had all season, really. starting to trend in the right direction there. So for the player side, we're going to have Stone with 8, then myself with 3. This is the first time since week 4 that I have had more than 2. And then Jamie's going to have 4. He added another one as well. He'll be picking last. So Stone, whenever you're ready.
All right, going with the running back first, as usual. James Cook over 60.5 rushing yards at -120. For some reason, his lines are always seem to be in the low 60s, and I feel like he's been pretty good for me this year when I picked him. I kind of interested to see the stats, how many times I picked him, and he's hit his line. But the Rams are a soft defense. I think they get up early in this game, and I think they're going to run the ball a lot. And I think James Cook has the potential to break off big plays like we saw against the 49ers last week. So, pretty confident in this one.
If I had a bet, I bet you're 3-0. I swear, I thought about it every time. Every time I look, and he hasn't hit the line, you didn't bet on it. Pretty solid on Cook. I'm always like, he didn't get it, and then I'm like, well, no one bet on it. I'm like, so.
I also hit a Cook under at some point too. So.
Yeah, it looks like you bet on him 4 times, including the under. That's 1, 2. I think you're 3-1, and then on running backs, you're 23-10, plus 10 units. So that is
just doing what Jamie did last year.
Yep.
The excellent strategy. All I gotta say, great strategy. Great strategy. It's gonna live on.
Am I next? Yeah. Okay. So Jamie's got more picks than me, but he was 2-1, and I was 2-0, so I ended up getting him on units by 0.15 or something like that. So I'm going to take. I just think there's some superstars out there that are gonna start keep their season going, get hot, start heading into the playoffs. And the first one I'm going to take against Atlanta is Justin Jefferson. His over is something that, I don't really look at these big numbers much. I'd rather have the Turpin 5.5 receiving yards, which was the best bet of the season for me. But Justin Jefferson is over 87.5. Like I said earlier, Atlanta does not get pressure on the quarterback, and they give up 72% completion percentage to quarterbacks. And I think that puts JJ in a position to just cook all day. So I'm going to take 87, and I'll probably on my own card take it up to 100 as a ladder.
Did you climb the ladder with Turpin last week, or did you just?
I climbed the ladder to 25.
Okay.
And I'll just say this week I've been on one of the biggest droughts of the entire season.
Well, you don't have to say that on the pod. The real question is, do you have a guarantee this week? I mean, you guaranteed Turpin, and it hit.
No, I don't have a guarantee. When I saw that Turpin line, I knew that was like the play of the month for me. That was a big one. I don't have that this week.
You can only do one guarantee a year.
Yeah.
I think if we roll back the tape, I think he made another one earlier in the year that did.
Maybe.
I definitely did another one. It might have been Trey Palmer or someone like that too.
Yeah. Anyways, for my first pick, I am gonna go with Muhammad Ali, aka George Pickens. Over 70.5 receiving yards at -110. He's hit this in 5 out of the last 6. The Browns play man at the 7th highest rate, and George is the 5th best wide receiver versus man. Mims and Sutton both had 100 individually versus the Browns last game, so I think Pickens can do this easily.
I like that.
Jamie doesn't pick a lot of wide receivers so far this year. 0-3 on receiving yards for wide receivers.
Gotta break that.
Damn. Gotta bring that up right after.
Yeah.
All right. Kind of back-to-back receivers, elite receivers. I'm gonna make it 3 in a row. Took this line last week. He didn't hit it till late, but I think he might have a better time this week. Jamar Chase over 79.5 receiving at -115.
Yeah, I was watching that game for a receptions bet, and he had like 4. He was stuck on 4 for the entire second half, and I was just like, why get him involved? And as soon as they did, it was like a 50-yard touchdown or something. So you know,
He hit it
just
very late, but we
yeah.
still got there.
Sometimes I just don't get. They need to feed these guys. Whether it's like a screen pass or something, it's like they forget. It's like you can get them the ball. It doesn't have to be a go route or a post or anything. You can do short route, get them the ball, and get them cooking.
Mm-hmm. So Stone 8 and 5 on wide receiver yards,
It's not
which
bad.
is
I'll take it.
pretty great. Yeah.
I mean, he has to be in the green on every type of player
yeah.
prop.
Not QBs.
Okay.
We'll just
I
leave it
made
at that.
like what?
Oh,
Probably
no.
3 or 4 QB bets all year. So.
Yeah.
7 QB bets.
Okay, that's more than I expected.
All right. Here we go. All right.
Batman coming in.
Yeah, I finally. This is the side when I don't have any picks. I can actually look at all of our databases. So, I'm gonna keep the wide receiver thing going. And again, trying to find soft defenses and players that I think will finish the season strong. And so I'm going to take CeeDee Lamb over 71.5 at minus 105. I do think Cincinnati gets on the right side of winning this week. And with that, Dallas is going to have to keep up because Cincinnati's offense is high powered. Defense is terrible, though. So 71. It's not as high as I thought it would be. I thought it'd be up there in the 80s like everyone else, but we will take that.
I went really hard on him on Thanksgiving, and like the last quarter when he was just chilling on the sidelines, just watching, I was like, I hated it.
Bad vibes.
Bad vibes.
All right. Well, there's been a run on wide receivers, and I think I'm going to turn my wide receiver stat around in 1 week. Okay, so I'm going to go with Westbrook Akine over 37.5 receiving yards at minus 120. The ooh makes me think that Stone had this.
No, I didn't have this, but I do like it. He's been like, he doesn't get many catches a game, but like it's always a big play or like a touchdown. It's crazy.
That's 120 actually.
Okay.
I said that wrong. Yeah, he's hit this 4 out of the last 5. He gets 6 targets a game, and the Jags are giving the 4th most yards up to the wide receiver. We talked about how bad that defense is, so let's get it.
I like this.
Might as well keep the wide receivers going.
Whoa.
The Vikings give up the most, or like the bottom 2 amount of yards to the receiver, and I think Darnell Mooney, he's been quiet a little bit, and I think he bounces back this week at 53.5 receiving yards at minus 115.
Okay, I was going, strangely enough, that was my next one. I was going to go all wide receivers. I had one of my favorite picks of the year was a Darnell Mooney. Touched it or start the season, and it was one of the only games he hasn't gone over his small line of, it was like 32 at the time or something. So I won't go in that direction. I only have one backup, so we're just going to roll with it. And then against a bad defense again, or soft defense, I'm going to take Chase Brown. And it's going to seem unreasonable, but that's over 102.5 rushing plus receiving, which is a lot. But I think whether they're winning or losing, this is going to be a good number for him. They're either going to give him the ball because they're winning, or he's been catching a lot of passes as well. I think is 25 or 27 for receiving. So that's at minus 120, a little bit chalky, but Dallas doesn't stop anybody. So
he's really broken out this year, it seems like. As like the guy for them.
Do you have a stat on your rushing plus receiving?
I can get one. I haven't been looking at myself too much. 1 and 2. And that's that's the only category I've bet running backs on has been rushing plus receiving. So 1 and 2 on that.
Interesting. Okay.
How about this? I'm also on wide receivers and the yards 4 and 8. which is really bad as well. So I got a lot of I'm trending in the wrong direction on some of these. But
Well, statistically speaking, you have to hit one eventually.
you would think that, but I think I stay at like 35%.
All right. Well,
At least
All
you're
right,
like
moving on.
picking like elite guys like Jefferson and CeeDee
Yes.
Lamb instead of like Trey Palmer and a bunch of bums.
Well, this week I didn't have the best reads, and I was thinking, okay, let's just go back to guys that can dominate.
There you go.
So I will be quiet and let you guys do your thing here. And if I got any stats, I'll chime in then.
Like I said, I'm going to try to flip the wide receivers all in 1 week. So I got one more. This one's a little chalky, but I need wins. Unfortunately, the units do not matter in this this little gaming challenge. So I'm going to go with Jacoby Myers at over 63.5 receiving yards at minus 125. If there had been a line for 65, so I could get that minus 110 or something, I would have took it. But there's not. He's hit this in 3 out of the last 4. As we all know, the Bucks allow the 7th most yards to the wide receiver. They are just one of the worst pass defenses in general. So I think the Raiders should be airing it out, and a little free pick, Jacoby or Bowers could do a lot of damage.
I like it. I'm gonna keep the wide receiver trend going. There wasn't too many running back lines that I liked this week, so I ended up with a lot of receivers on my board. But Malik Neighbors over 67.5 receiving yards at minus 110. The Saints defense isn't great, and I think he always like goes really slow, but somehow ends up getting his line near the end of the games. The Giants need to give him the ball earlier on, but regardless, I think he'll get this line, and that was 67, not 63.
Yeah, that's mainly due to game flow. What they want to do is they want to establish the run.
Yeah.
They know they suck. They're going to pass the ball anyways. So they're trying to establish the run in the first half, but they just aren't good enough to get it going like that. So that's why he doesn't get involved until they finally give up in the second half and say, all right, let's air it out.
Yep.
I
Absolutely.
bet if they had Saquon, they'd be good enough.
I don't think Saquon can fix this team. But anyways, I actually looked at Saquon's line, and it's absurd.
Oh, I wanted to talk about that. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
if
absolutely
anyone
ridiculous.
wants to take a guess, Connor, if you didn't look at it, why don't you take a gander what that line was?
I'm gonna say 107.5.
It was 116 last I
Oh
checked.
man, that's
So
crazy.
you were pretty close.
All right.
I was
I mean,
just
that's
thinking
the,
last week it was 99. The week after that is 102.
Now
Okay.
last week
that's tough.
was 91.
91. Okay.
I think I ended up losing that one. Because I
We
picked his
didn't
under.
touch it at 99 the week before.
Yeah.
And
But
he had like 252 yards or something.
Do you know how many rushing yards he's averaging per game?
Mm-mm.
120.
That's a lot.
That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous at this point. And
That's
going against the Panthers, I don't see how he doesn't get it.
Yeah, but
you
I'm
see
not
that-
taking it.
Oh, okay.
No, I just wanted to talk it up. It actually dropped. It's only 112 now, so the line's changing. People betting the under there. I don't know. It's tough because they could get ahead. Like he could set the whole second half theoretically. I mean, will he? Probably not. But there is a chance they're up 35-0, and they're just like, all right, bud, Gainwell, go at it. So. That's the only fear there, but I'm going to go with another running back to finish mine out. Kamara at over 82.5 rushing yards at minus 115. Sticking around the same New York game. He had over 100 last week, and New York has the 29th ranked rush defense. New Orleans is going to want to grind this one out, so I think it's a good bet.
Jamie's been good on rushing yards for running backs, 22 and 17.
It's pretty
2.2 units plus. So
Should be better. It's terrible.
26 and 19 on running backs in general, but I was surprised. I thought that was going to be a carries bet because you've been crushing it.
He
on
did
the
have
carries.
23 carries last week. Yeah, I looked at it.
All right.
All right, Stone. You got, what is it, 4 in a row here?
Yep.
Go ahead.
I am going to pivot back to running backs. Pacheco's rushing line was at 48.5. I was gonna take the over, but it's super chalky, so I'm just gonna do. There's a 50+ line at -110, compared to over 48.5 at -125, which was crazy. Crazy the difference on those lines. I don't
Yeah.
understand the DraftKings methodology there, but I think he's coming back, second week back, gonna get more involved. The Chargers actually give up a decent amount to the running back, so I like this line. Going through my list here. Going back to running backs, but for reception yards, the Bills give up the most receiving yards to running backs, probably because they're winning most games. And I think Kyron's line is very low, and he'll get over 10.5 receiving yards at -115.
I got nothing on that one. I don't even what does Williams like catches look like?
He hasn't been catching a ton, which is kind of a little scary.
But he only needs one. This is the Turpin line. Turpin line of the week.
Yeah, and I think if they're down, and I think that the Rams or the Bills end up playing a lot of they give up a lot of underneath stuff, and I think this is where.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
once you're up, you just kind of play cover 2 and keep everything in front. No big, make the offense dink and dunk and a swing pass to the running back. It's a good way to do that.
Yep, exactly. Okay, I had Chase Brown on my list. I'll probably not take that at his rushing total, but I will probably skip that. And I will go with. This will kind of link up with Jamie's Westbrook Akine line, but it's going to be his quarterback thrown to him. I'm going to take Will Levis over 211.5 passing yards at -120. We already talked about how bad the Jags are, and I think Levis has actually been getting it done surprisingly, and I think Westbrook Akine has been a big reason for that as well. So I like that. And then what? I have one more pick left.
One more.
One more. Okay.
That's a lot. It's good. You could lose some if you want.
Big deep, man. Big deep.
All right. I'm gonna take an running back under. I've lost one already on this guy, but Chuba Hubbard under 54.5 rushing at -115. The Eagles' defense is elite. Panthers will have to be throwing more, and I think the first time I took this, I thought Brooks would be a lot more involved, but he's slowly getting more integrated into the offense, and I think this week he will actually be used more than the first time I took this line. So I'm going to take this and hope that's the case, and I expect the Eagles to be winning this game, so they shouldn't be running that much.
I don't know if you saw the article, but somebody put like $3.5 million on the
I saw
Eagles
that.
this game as well. Someone else is really expecting them to win too.
At -700 or something like.
Make 400K, I guess.
I will say, Stan, to make you feel better, I did absolutely look at this line, and it probably would have been one of my picks if I had more. Like you said about Jonathan Brooks, I mean, he had 6 carries last week. I think, like you said, he's slowly coming on. They don't really have anything to play for, so now's the time if they want to look at Brooks, give him some more carries. That takes away from Chuba. We're playing a good rush defense, even though the Eagles gave up a good many last week, but I think, that's versus a better team than the Panthers. So.
All right, I think that's going to close us out for that. That was 15 player prop picks, so really stacking up the picks now. And we got one thing left to do, which is our touchdown parlay. We only hit one leg last week, which was a Pickens touchdown. So still doing good on the season. I think we are 23 and 15 at 61%, making a lot of units on this. In fact, I'll give you the number 11.8 units on our touchdown picks. So that's been pretty good for us. Stone, you're the only one that hit one last week, so I'll let you go first.
So I'm looking. I don't think Josh Allen's not up there, right?
Josh Allen is not up there.
So I'm going to take Josh Allen at -115.
He saw
Alright.
the passing, receiving, rushing touchdown, and said,
a
"I'm taking it."
A buddy of mine actually lost or won a matchup because of that. Because of that passing and receiving touchdown.
That's actually, now that you say that, that is when things started to go wrong. That snow game. We were cruising on the group chat, everything was good, and the snow game came along, and it's been downhill since the snow game. I had a Amari Cooper anytime touchdown,
Oh
and
yeah.
it got cashed out. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess that's how they scored that. Nope. Later, they actually took money out of the account.
Really?
And I was in it. Yeah, I
Really?
couldn't believe. Normally they just wouldn't cash it yet. They'd leave it sit. But
That's crazy
they
that they gave you money and then they took it back. I would have just
oh
made some
yeah.
bets immediately.
Well, I was there wasn't a lot left.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, that snow game turned the vibes on me. It's been low vibes ever since. All
We're
right,
gonna
Jamie.
turn the vibes up.
Yep,
I'm
we got.
gonna keep with the Allens. I'm just gonna go with
Oh.
Braylon Allen.
Oh.
And that's at even money.
Okay.
Bryce Hall
Get ready
is
for that.
Bryce Hall's doubtful. Someone has to score. Someone has to score for the Jets.
It's true.
Unruly baby.
Or
That's what
maybe
we got.
nobody has to score for the Jets. That's
You're
possible
right.
too.
That is possible, but
I thought we had. Well, I'm done with the Jets after what they did to me last week. Okay. I have
I was done
one.
with the Jets way earlier than that.
Yeah, and
I
you
was
told me to
shocked.
be careful with them, but I was like, they're at home. They're coming off bye. They should have beat the Seahawks last week. They really blew that. So,
we'll love
I'm
to see
going.
our Jets picks.
Let me put that in my notes so I can get that for next
Because
week. Or I'll
I think
text
I
it to
bet
you.
on Garrett Wilson, and he did not get his line the week I bet on him. So it might be a Chiefs thing. Like we might be like 1-9 versus them.
I
Could
think
be.
I've won some Brees Hall lines. That's probably keeping it afloat.
Keeping it afloat. Yeah. All right.
So
Lay
I'm
it on us.
going to take one that's a little chalky. Again, the theme here is just bad defenses on a short week, or when there's only 12 games. And so I'm going to take a running back that's not on the board. Kind of surprising. They don't score a lot of rushing touchdowns, but I'm going to take Rico Dowdle, and it's at minus 135. That puts it at plus 550, which it would be one of our lower totals there. But it'd be good to hit it. If we hit this one, we need to hit one more to kind of carry us through the rest of the season. If we get one more the rest of the year, we will be positive on our parlay for the whole season, which was the goal to begin with. So anyway, does anybody have anything additional or anything else that maybe I'm forgetting?
Nope.
I also think maybe the luck left with the mustache. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure it out.
You think that's what it was? It's one of those no shave type situations.
Yep, November was a good month. Now it's Anyway, I appreciate everyone for joining us, and we'll see you next week. And Baby Cove is getting unruly, so I'll see everybody next week.
Deuces.